It's alright. Hush.
Yo guys, what is up? Max in our Outriders video, and today we are talking about the big dev update that is coming to the demo tomorrow around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, not only does this update have a bunch of fixes to crashes, stability, performance, all that kind of good stuff, but it also changes some of the enemies and the way that we are going to be farming our legendaries. There's so much stuff to talk about today, guys. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, guys, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so let's talk about these changes. Now, these changes are going to be a back-end update to the demo. You're not going to need to download anything. It's just going to be a pretty seamless transition, and it's happening around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. Now, the first thing that they're changing is they're adding a motion blur toggle for all platforms. I'm really happy that they didn't wait to add this till the full release of the game, because so many people have really been frustrated with the motion blur in the demo. So fixing motion blur, they're also tweaking the frame rate output for cutscenes, and they're making improvements and cutting down time on matchmaking. These are all great changes, and they're also working on the synchronization during cutscenes for like subtitles across all platforms and audio desync as well. Next up, we get to actual changes to the enemies, and we're talking about the captains. Now, if you're like me, you may have a small addiction to farming captains for the tiny chance of getting a legendary. Now they're changing the captain's abilities, so the captain's ability Healing Light is getting its effectiveness reduced. It was basically crazy. If the captain got off its healing ability, it would heal, everything would heal. And they're also reducing the cooldowns of From the Ashes and Phoenix Aura. These were pretty tough, and it's basically just kind of a nerf to captains, which means that killing them is going to be even easier and getting those legendaries hopefully a little bit quicker. But I think this is more addressed to people that were trying to get through the captains on their first playthrough and were struggling, and I'm glad that they made these fixes. Next up, we got changes to Gauze. Now, Gauze is like the main boss enemy of the demo, and he is getting his health points increased on repeat playthroughs, meaning if you're going back to kill Gauze, he will have more health because it was a pretty easy kill. And this is more addressed towards balancing of if you have all your gear and you're ready to melt Gauze. I've seen people do it in like 8 seconds, 5 seconds. He's going to have increased health, and his Steel Wall ability he's also going to get increased healing from, so it should be a more challenging fight now. Next up, we have our changes to loot drops, and this is some big stuff. Now, they say, while we do not want to prevent farming runs, we get it. The loot cave discovered via the triple chest run, as well as the store exploit, do not feel to be within the spirit of the game. To that end, we are redirecting farming efforts to mechanics in the game that may be more enjoyable for players to play through and repeat. To start us off, epic items will no longer appear in shops and vendors within the demo. So in the demo, those purples, those epics, will no longer appear in shops and vendors. I kind of like checking the shops and vendors every hour, like on the hour, but this is getting removed. Today is your last chance to get purples from these. Next up, chests will no longer drop legendary items, meaning that like triple chest farm, that 5 chest farm right before Gauze is getting nerfed. You can no longer get legendaries from this. Now, I never really did this chest farm. I found like opening chests on repeat for hours and hours to be pretty mind-numbing, and I don't know, I enjoyed farming more, but the chests are being nerfed. You're not going to get legendaries from them anymore. However, they're making it so that side quest rewards on repeat runs now have a chance to drop legendary items. Now, I'm not exactly sure when these will be dropping, if like the reward when you turn it in could be a legendary, or if like the boss that you kill will be a legendary. I think it's when you're going to turn them in you have a chance to get a legendary, but that's pretty cool, and it's going to reward people playing the quests and like actually doing like more mobbing instead of just like focusing on how fast you can melt a captain. So I'm really excited for this. I'm going to be trying to deck out my Pyromancer so that I can get those fast mob clears. Pyromancer's been a little under the radar, I think, and I want to work on that. Next up, they talk about things that they're fixing for the main game. Now, these are things that they're addressing and are aware of, but are basically going to get fixed in the main game. They're not going to get fixed in the demo, but these are really good things. The first thing that they're going to talk about is camera shake during cutscenes and dialogues. This is saying they're not going to be able to address this fully in the demo, but they're going to hope to fix the 30 FPS restrictions during the cutscenes, which should help alleviate the impact of the camera movement during these cutscenes. So hopefully those cutscenes are at a higher FPS. Next up, matchmaking. They say, while the upcoming patch may help alleviate some issues here, we're keeping a close eye on the time it takes to matchmake and are continually investigating where some matchmaking is taking longer than it should. Next up, and this is a big one for me, the cover system. They basically said it's not something that we'll be able to fix within the demo, but the main game will not only include a slew of bug fixes for many cover locations, but it'll also address a fix of a handful of systematic issues that are currently affecting the cover mechanic on a global level. I didn't like the cover system in this game, honestly. Their marketing is the cover system is not for you, but the fact is it's there. Some people go to it. Some characters need it more than other characters. And the fact that they're already addressing that and are aware of it is great news. Next up, items disappearing from player inventories. Now, this is a serious issue and they're taking it seriously. They said that they do not have a way to restore your inventory if it was deleted, but they're working on fixing it, and they're looking into a restoration system so that if you do lose items in any way, they can help you restore those and get those items back, which is great. And lastly, we have the cheating and players using obvious exploits. Now, basically what they say about this is that they are aware of these players. They can see them on their back end and are working on, they say, assure all regular players that we are able to identify cheaters with relative ease via our backend system, and that their actions should not affect your regular playing our co-op experience. I don't know if that means that they're going to be taking any actions or punishing these players, but basically that they're not going to affect your experience, which is a good thing. It's a good thing, and I'm happy they can see those cheaters, because it's never a good thing when you've got cheaters in games. And that's about it. They said that we're continuing to work on polishing the main game ready for launch on April 1st, which is great. We want this game to come out. I really want the full game. And guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. If you did, be sure to subscribe, because we'll be putting out tons of Outriders videos. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.